Hi, it's Mike from replica.airguns.com, and I'm doing a review slash comparison of the Umarex SA177 and the HPP. Both of these guns are by Umarex. Now, let's get some of the specifications out of the way. Both of these guns are BB guns, .177 caliber. They're CO2 powered with blowback action, and the HPP has a 15-round magazine. The SA177 has a 16-round magazine, but it actually holds more like 19. Now, they are blowback, but one thing that's kind of interesting about these guns is that the trigger actually activates the hammer, so the shooting mechanism. I believe the reason for this is because that puts less of a demand on the blowback action, allowing for a higher velocity, but you do get a little bit harder trigger pull. And that said, on the SA177, it does have quite a firm or hard trigger pull, whereas the HPP is, the trigger pull is a little bit nicer. They're both long trigger pulls, but on the HPP, I would consider it to be a much nicer trigger pull, a little bit better shooter for that reason. They both shoot around 400 feet per second. The HPP claims around 410, but it shoots maybe just under 400. The SA177 claims just under 400 and seems to shoot a little faster when I've looked at some of the specifications from other people's reviews. Okay, so let's take a look at the guns themselves and look visually at some comparisons. You'll notice that the SA177 looks a lot like a Glock. It doesn't have any Glock markings, but it looks very similar to a Glock. And even with the, this isn't actually a real device here, but it simulates the Glock trigger with the little safety mechanism here. So there's the safe and fire. There's no red marking there. You just have to read it to know what you're doing. And I like the fact that the Glock or the SA177 has an ejection port that's viewable. I like that. It makes it look more realistic. Both of these guns also have the wider opening on the barrel, which makes them look very authentic. On the SA177, you'll also see that the magazine is metal, and when you put it in, it looks like a real magazine. The other thing I like about the SA177 is to get the CO2, you literally just push on this, it pops open, right? Take your magazine out, and when you do that, this little guy is the piercing mechanism. I'm not going to pierce it, but I'll put that in there. Right. Again, here's your magazine release, and it's the magazine's metal. On both of these guns, they're very easy to load. You just slide this down. It goes. The spring goes into a groove here, and you put your BBs through the hole. On the HPP, again, you just use your magazine release button here. Magazine's metal, so it's not quite as robust, but again, it loads the same way, right, with a little hole there, 15-round magazine. Now this one, you just pop this off, but it's a little more Mickey Mouse. Works just fine. You do have to make sure, the piercing mechanism is a little heftier, it's all metal, so that's nice, a little easier to do. And then once you've got that loaded up, not piercing it, but once you've got your CO2 in there, right, so it's all flush, but it doesn't look quite as nice on the bottom as the SA177. This does have a viewable hammer, but it doesn't really stay back at all. It's just kind of is there. The slide release on the HPP is right there. Here's your safety, but what I do like about it is the fact that you actually have the red showing you that you're live, that you're not in safe mode anymore. Again, magazine release. Metal trigger. A lot of this gun's almost all metal, which is nice. So it's very hefty, but there's no actual ejection port. Like it's not cut out. The barrel again though is it's got the wider opening, which is more like a 9mm size, so it makes it look more authentic. Both of these guns look really good. I would say the HPP shoots a little nicer. I just like the trigger pull. I like the weightiness of it. Whereas the SA177 is a bit lighter, but so are Glocks, right? It's got a composite frame and a metal slide. I like the look of the Glock or the SA177. I like the realism. Both of these guns, price-wise, excellent. The SA177 I purchased for around $60 Canadian, and the HPP was around $80 Canadian. So I mean, you can't go wrong as far as price goes. Both of these guns, great value. I'd recommend both of them. Umarex always makes great products, and so there you go. There's a comparison review of the Umarex HPP and the SA177. I'm going to be doing a field shooting test with them, and that I will be doing individually. And I'm going to shoot 2 separate videos for that. So make sure to come back and check out these guns in action on their separate videos. And don't forget to check out replicaairguns.com. Take care.